Blade of Honor, Blade of Gold, Chapter 15, The Blade's Silent End. The morning air was still, and the wind that once carried the scent of battle now carried only the quiet echoes of a warrior's soul. The Ronin, drenched in the remnants of the fight at Kinryū Temple, staggered forward, clutching the blade of gold, his prize, his curse, his burden. The temple grounds were littered with the fallen, those who sought power, wealth, and dominion like he once had. But now it all seemed so distant, meaningless. The pagodas stood tall behind him, silent sentinels to the bloody conflict that had unfolded, but the battle was over. The Ronin's enemies lay defeated, yet no sense of victory filled his heart. He could feel the weight of the cursed sword in his hand, heavier than ever, its golden sheen no longer a symbol of power but of the hollow greed it represented. He moved with purpose, his eyes set on the horizon, on the sacred altar he had been told of by the ancient swordsmith, the one place where the curse of Kinkatana could be undone. His wounds ached, but something deeper gnawed at him, the burden of the choices he had made. With each step, memories flashed in his mind, the moment he had first heard of the blade of gold, the treacherous path he had walked, the betrayal of friends, and the endless bloodshed. Each image burned into his soul like a scar that would never heal. But redemption was now within his reach, if only he could make it to the shrine. The journey was arduous. As the Ronin climbed the final mountain path toward the sacred altar, the land around him seemed to shift, as if the very world knew the cursed object he carried. The air grew thick, and an unnatural mist rose from the earth. Whispered voices surrounded him, the ghosts of those who had fallen under the sword's influence. Some pleaded for release, others cursed him for daring to challenge the blade's dark power. Yet he pressed on. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he stood before the sacred altar. A small, ancient shrine, untouched by time, waited in the center of a tranquil clearing. The atmosphere here was different, calm, yet charged with the weight of centuries of ritual and sacrifice. With a final breath, the Ronin slammed his hands down upon the blade, and the sacred stone cracked beneath the pressure. A powerful shockwave erupted from the sword, the golden light intensifying, filling the clearing. The whispers grew louder, turning into agonized screams as the souls bound to the curse were released one by one. The Ronin could feel the energy leave him, his strength, his power, his wealth, all of it drained away as the blade's curse was unraveled. And then, silence. The blade of gold, once shimmering with an otherworldly brilliance, now lay dull and lifeless on the stone. The Ronin, exhausted, collapsed to his knees. He had succeeded. The curse was broken. But as he looked down at the now ordinary katana, he knew that breaking the curse had come at a great cost. Everything he had gained from the sword was gone. His wealth, his status, and even his physical strength had been stripped away. He was once again a Ronin, a masterless warrior, alone in the world. And yet for the first time in what felt like years, he felt free. He rose slowly, leaving the blade of gold behind on the altar. It no longer held any power over him. The curse was broken, and with it the greed and darkness that had clouded his soul. He had nothing left, nothing but his honor, which had been restored through sacrifice. As he walked away from the altar, the mist began to dissipate, and the morning sun broke through the clouds. The warmth of the light bathed him. And though his future was uncertain, he knew that he would face it with clarity and purpose. The path of the warrior was not one of wealth or power, it was one of honor, sacrifice, and the courage to face one's own demons. The Ronin had learned this the hard way, but in the end he had emerged victorious, not over his enemies but over himself. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey. Honor, sacrifice, redemption, this is Black X Wolf Entertainment. Subscribe now for more legendary tales, and don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts below. Until next time, the blade rests, but the story continues.